Welcome back, everyone. This will be something a bit different because it's not what I originally planned, but it's something that's been nagging on me for a while. So, as many of you know, I am from Ireland. Well, from Northern Ireland specifically, which is a whole different thing. That is, if you know anything about the history of Ireland, you know that's a very complicated issue. And I want to talk about something that's related to this island, because I have a bit of pride about being from this island specifically. And it's something that gets overlooked. What started this whole thought was a Instagram post by an account called Things Only Irish. It's the account I follow. I generally enjoy it. Link below for that one. And it was just talking about Irish inventions. And yeah, some of the comments kind of really annoyed me. They were talking about things like potatoes and beer and stuff like that. And like, first of all, potatoes are from South America, and beer is something that we've been brewing since like prehistory. I think it's an interesting concept. I would love to talk about the history of beer at some point, even though I'm not really a beer drinker. I know, shock. But yeah, so I thought I'd make a video about some of the things that Ireland has invented, because this island has actually invented some pretty awesome things. Stuff that affects our everyday life, and some really weird ones. So I'm actually off the coffee at the minute and the tea and stuff, and being healthy for just a little bit longer here. So why don't you just grab a drink yourselves, even a pint. I'm not against you guys having a beer, just me having one. So grab a drink, sit down, and let's have a wee chat about some of Ireland's greatest inventions. And I hope you actually learned something. I hope you enjoy something, because at least one of these always makes me laugh, and one of them definitely won't shock you. So see you in a second, guys. Okay, first up my list, and this one will be a bit of a surprise to a lot of people. Ireland is kind of responsible for modern chemistry. I've no doubt we would have got there one way or another, but it just happens to be, I believe, Robert Boyle, who himself was an alchemist. Apparently, I'm going to double check the dates on this one, because, you know, I don't want to be giving lies out. Yes, he was born in 1627, died in 1691. But in his time, he would have been an alchemist, and he is credited with creating like modern chemistry. When I say alchemist, don't be thinking, you know, female alchemist. Especially, don't be thinking back to a certain dog and seeing that, and I'm now dying inside once again. That person at the door. So I feel like I can't do this one justice. All I can say is that he is noteworthy for his book, which I'm going to get the note for again here, because I have the notes here. I believe it's The Skeptical Chemist. Chymist. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce that one, but yeah, so he disregarded a lot of the theory that came before and pushed out new ideas, which, let's face it, in those days, maybe not the easiest thing to do. But I'm just kind of shocked by how crazy it was. Like, we're talking about, yeah, 1661 this book was published. In 1661, chemistry became a thing then, technically. That is insane. I kind of thought we would have got there beforehand. Obviously, there were experiments from proto-modern chemistry, but that's insane to me. I can't fathom that somehow. It's just amazing how far we've come. Like, I was talking to a friend yesterday, we got sidetracked here, about 1066 being, you know, the beginning of like English history. We're all sort of modern English history. We're kind of taught that. And you think that we're only in 2023? Like, a lot of time has passed, but not that much when you think about it. And that is insane. Maybe I'm just naive on that one, but I feel like we haven't been on this rock that long that we are destroying it at an alarming rate. Case in point, everyone's had a weird summer, except for the Irish. We've had a kind of miserable summer, but it's kind of nice today. Anyway, that's my first thing. Ireland give you modern chemistry. So, there you go. Now on to our next one. Here's one for you. 12th of March, 1845. Francis Rind, I believe Rind, R-Y-N-D, documented the first successful use of the hypodermic needle. That too was an Irish invention. Nope. Again, another one that could be also problematic is the fact that at this point Ireland was part of the British Empire, so some may claim that as them. But Francis Rind is an Irishman and he invented the hypodermic needle, and I for one am thankful because, as many of you know, I have finished up my cancer treatment this year with mixed success. We'll talk about that another day. And even today I was getting several needles shoved into me to get blood samples out of me. So there you go. We give the world modern chemistry and the hypodermic needle. That's not bad, but we can do better. And the next one's one of my favorites. So ready for one that just always makes me smile. This one is one of my absolute favorite Irish inventions, and specifically Northern Irish, by a man called James Martin. Not that James Martin, different James Martin. This guy was an inventor from not too far from where I record this now. It's County Down in Northern Ireland. He invented the ejector seat, and that is awesome. And he went on to found a company that would be like the world's biggest supplier of ejector seats. I get it, don't get me wrong, modern chemistry, brilliant. One of the most important inventions, you know, all time. The hypodermic needle has saved millions of lives. But the ejector seat, the rocket propelled ejector seat, that's just cool. You know, that saved lives as well, and it's awesome. Like, come on. They're cool. I wish I had one in my car. Not for me, for people sitting beside me, so if they annoyed me, I'd be like, boop. And away you go. So I have no idea what that is. But, come on, that's cool. And if that doesn't impress you, I have more great Irish inventions on the way. Just two more we're going to talk about today. Okay? So, let's go on to our next one. So this next one is by a Frank Partridge, who had some controversial beliefs in his life due to racism. Now that came from the fact that he, in World War II, he served as the slave laborer in building the railway through Burma. So he kind of picked up some negative thoughts on the Japanese. I'm not condoning it or defending it. Just saying this is at least what I was taught. But he did invent something very important. One that has saved many lives. I've had the distinct pleasure of having to grab one of these for someone once. The portable defibrillator. That, again, that's a great thing. Another life-saving thing. So we're not all, booze, Those are multiple things that have changed people's lives. That's great. But the fifth one I've saved the last is possibly Ireland's most influential invention. Something we're very well known for, both north and south of the border. And we're going into that one now. So sit back, ready for our last one, for a fun bit of education that I'm semi-qualified to speak about. So, if you go to Ireland's Invention Wikipedia page, because this does make me giggle as well, there isn't really much early history, because again, Ireland was sparsely populated and it was never really unified. I think to get big inventions, you probably need to unify. Because more minds together come up with more ideas. More people means more problems means more solutions. Humans work together quite well. If you're sitting on your own in the cave in the middle of nowhere, you don't tend to really invent much. Maybe some people do, maybe I'm wrong. But there's a couple of little bits and pieces, and then we get to the 14th century, and this is invented. The old Gaelic word is spelled U-I-S-C-E. In Latin, it would be known as aqua vitae, which is the monks that made this would have called it, which is water of life. But we would know it as whiskey. And Ireland invents that around the 14th century, and then we don't really do much else to the 17th century. But I think we're allowed to rest on our laurels on this one. And yes, I am a hypocrite, because I complained about people going, the Ireland invented potatoes and beer. Yeah, and I'm now going about whiskey, which is something we're pretty well known for. So, There are three major types of whiskey. There is the American whiskey, which is single distilled. Scotch, which maybe double distilled, but it is made using peat instead of wood burnings, which gives it like a earthier flavoring, which I'm not a fan of, but some people are. My father's a big fan of Scotch, Johnny Walker. As for me, I am more a fan of the Irish whiskey, which is triple distilled, and it has to stay in a barrel for, I think, 3 years and a day. Specifically, that's, you know, the Irish whiskey, and that's partially due to the Scottish. They keep theirs in the barrel for 3 years, or is it a year and a day? Anyway, I'm a day more than them. I may have got that slightly wrong. We'll just double check that at a later point. But we invented it. It came from this island here. It was monks that brewed it originally. It was considered almost sacred and holy. And now Irish whiskey is different from the other forms because it's triple distilled. So it's pretty much when you make the alcohol, they distill it once, twice, 3 times. And if you go to any whiskey distillery, it's fascinating. Specifically in Ireland, there's several you could visit if you're here. South of the border, of course, there is Jameson's original factory in Dublin. It's a nice wee restaurant, lovely tour, quite nice. The Powers factory, which is Jameson's headquarters now in Cork, it's just outside Cork. That's right in the south of Ireland. If you want like the full Irish experience, definitely worth visiting. Then in Northern Ireland, Bushmills, which I believe is the oldest distillery running in the world. It makes whiskey, like focuses on whiskey, and it is at least one of the oldest in Ireland. It's a Scotch, if I'm right. Again, I don't like Bushmills, too strong for me. Says the guy who has, I think, 2 bottles of Bushmills downstairs. I really am a hypocrite. And then not too far from where I live now, there's a smaller distillery known as Hench. It's actually a really nice whiskey. It's a nice locally made one. Other great whiskey options, Japan does Nika and Suntory, I believe. Really great whiskies, lovely flavorings to them, but not my style. Again, because at the end of the day, Jameson was always my favorite. It has like sweeter vanilla flavor to it, and that's partially because when they make it, they reuse old barrels. Specifically, port and rum barrels get used, which give it a lovely flavoring. It's really, I could talk about whiskey for hours. It's a fascinating topic. It's especially the work that goes into making it, specifically the making of barrels. They have to be made in a certain way. There are very few people in the world that can make them the specific way. So if you ever are in need of work, learn how to make a whiskey barrel and you'll have a job for a long time. And it's something, as alcohols go, I know you can just pound it in and drink it, and there will be people who do that, but it's just a nice sipping alcohol, and yeah, I just like it. If you're not a big drinker like myself, I used to be, one I would advise is shot whiskey, some lime juice, and some soda water. It goes down nice and smooth. Plenty of ice is lovely on a warm day. And a hot whiskey, which would involve using some hot water, cloves, honey, and some Jameson's, is great if you're feeling a bit under the weather in the winter. I really could top out whiskey all day. Yeah. My only little tip to you as well: you don't be wasting money on expensive whiskeys. Like, I mean, don't be buying the cheap shit. But if you're looking to buy, like, buying a $500 bottle of whiskey, it's probably not worth it. Some people do. I know that, like Jameson's, I think they found like an old bottle or an old barrel that had been left there for like a long time by accident, and they sold it off for a fortune. See if you're an idiot buying stuff like that. Like, I'm sure it's gonna taste potent, but waste of money if you ask me. All comes out the same color in the end anyway. Well, it depends which end it comes out. Because you may throw it up. So yeah, that is 5 great inventions from Ireland, north and south. Come on, we give you hypodermic nails, portable defibrillator, ejector seat, whiskey, and chemistry. Which you can use the chemistry to make whiskey. Just want to point that out. So Did any of that surprise you? Please comment below. Do you know any other Irish inventions you think I should have mentioned? Again, please comment below. Do you also think it's kind of weird that we invented whiskey and then for 300 years probably sat and drank ourselves blind before we decided to do anything else? That is my personal theory. I like to imagine that. Or Family Guy, they got a good idea for it as well. Anyway, on that note, I just want to say I've got a couple of new subscribers recently, really appreciate it, so thanks to all. And just don't forget to comment. I like to engage and talk with people. It does. It helps, especially with all the chemo and all going at the minute, or cancer stuff. So it's been great doing this recently. And stay awesome, guys. And I hope you have a great week.